All right, let's get this party started. You guys ready? You guys ready? Yeah. Ready? You ready? 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 You guys ready? I'll show you how to do that. Just so I can't do that.
That's my younger daughter. Yeah.
All right, guys. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm D-Rad. Today we're covering what? What are we going over today? Scripts about what? Why listings? Why am I focused on listings today? Why is that important? You list to last, right? 2021 taught us a valuable lesson. You can have 10 buyers, you can write up 10 offers for each buyer and still have no deals closed. On the flip side, you can have 10 listings and they're all closed, over asking, and you've got some great commission in your pocket, right? So we need to be more listing focused. We need to go after listings for all the buyer agents that need property, right? I want to be the employer, not the employee is the way I look at it. Nothing against buyers agents, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the way I look at real estate, if I want to have control of my income and control of my schedule, I go after listings. When I was working with buyers, I would go out and they were paying 2%. Guess what I got paid? 2%. When you work with sellers, you negotiate your commission up front. You know what you're getting paid. I love that about working in listings, right? I also can control my schedule. Buyers want to go out in the evening. They want to go out on the weekends. I want to be home in the evening. I want to be home on the weekends. You can do that when you have listings because it's about the 3 L's. What are the 3 L's? What are the 3 L's? Almost energy. Leads, listings, and leverage, right? So if you get the leads and then you turn those into listings and you use leverage, other people can host your open houses. You don't have to be there. Other people can go to your home inspection. You don't have to be there. Other people can meet the appraiser. You don't have to be there. You leverage your time so you can go get more listings and make more money. So that's why I like to focus on listings. So let's talk about it. What we're going to do today is something completely different. I've never done this before. I have several scenarios up here. Hazel helped me create this. And what we're going to do is sit some people here, and you've got a perfect seat. We're going to sit agents here, right? And we're going to have one seller. And we're going to talk about some of the common objections we get when we're at listing appointments, things that sellers say to us. And every agent has to overcome that objection. And so you should hear 3 different ways to overcome the same objection. The reason I have 3 different people sitting up here is because I believe you can't say the same objection handler over and over again. You have to have 2 or 3 or even 4 different ways to overcome the same objection. So we're going to play that game today. I also have my hot potato. So we may just toss it around. You have to overcome an objection, make another one up, and pass it to the next agent. We may play some games like that if we have time. But the most important thing for us to do today is really get into it and talk about the listing presentation and what that looks like. So I show up at somebody's house. This is what I do. I knock on the front door. They open the door and say hello. What do I say?
Hi.
It's 12 o'clock. We have a 12 o'clock meeting. I'm here.
There it is. Did you hear what they said though? Hey, I'm David Radley. It's 12 o'clock and we have an appointment at 12 o'clock. Can I come in? Why do I start the meeting off that way?
So they know that you're
Someone's like,
you're
why are you doing
prompt.
it? Why do you think I do that, Summer?
So you're going to just knocking on the door without having the appointment?
No, I have an appointment. Hey, it could work, right? You know, you have a listing presentation set up. It's at 12 o'clock. You knock on the door and you say, hey, I'm David. It's 12 o'clock. We have an appointment at 12 o'clock. Can I come in? Why do we do that?
Take control.
Take control.
And they know you're prompt. You're prompt.
You're on time.
Yeah.
I'm in a room full of real estate agents. Are we on time?
No. Yes.
No. Don't say it. No. Maybe you are.
Always on time.
Most of us are not on time, right? So we want to show our value. We want to show them that we do what we're supposed to do. We do what we say we're going to do. It's an integrity issue, right? I said I'll be there at 12. It's 12. I'm letting you know I'm there at 12 o'clock. So all the other agents that didn't come at 12, the seller's paying attention to that, right? I'm respecting your time, I'm on time. And then I walk in your house and I say, hey, can I put my stuff down at the kitchen table? And can I take a quick look around your house? And the seller would say what?
Sure.
I'll go with you.
I'll show you.
Right? And most of us would say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. You know why?
Takes too long.
Takes too long. If we do a quick tour, how long does it take?
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
If a seller showed, how long does it take you?
15 minutes.
It took us, I went on a listing appointment yesterday, the seller took us, it took an hour.
Took
Oh
an
my
hour.
God.
And it can take up to an hour because they want to show you every detail, every upgrade, everything about the house.
Thank you.
I'm willing to give you an hour after you sign the paperwork and I know you're working with me. So up front, my whole response is, I want to go see it on my own, right? You're not going to be here for showings. I need to go see your house through the eyes of a buyer. Later tonight, after you sign the paperwork with me, then we can walk around together and you can show me everything that makes the house great.
You
Right?
say it like that up front.
You say it like that up front. You take control.
Have you found yourself with the homeowner like resisting the fact that you're walking by yourself, they're just meeting you and then you're walking in their home
Yeah.
by yourself?
They're saying, listen, I don't know you. I need to walk around with you. Right? And there are going to be certain people who push back.
Yeah.
So then we would say what?
Welcome to
We
walk
could-
with me, but please stay
Once
behind
we
so I
do
can
this.
see it with my own.
Please don't say anything. I'm going to be taking notes, taking some pictures.
Mhm.
I need to see it through the eyes of the buyer. Just follow me along and we'll be really quick.
Yeah, the one thing I say, Dave, is I say, hey, listen, I'd love for you to give me a tour. I said, but really, I'm just trying to get an idea of the scope of the house, the feel, the openness, the condition, and once you sign the paperwork with me, then we can go on an in-depth tour where you can tell me what
Love it.
drew you to buy in this house and all the things that you upgraded. Is that fair? Yes.
Nice.
And then you zip through.
Yep.
But you gotta give them the embedded command. Once you sign the paperwork with me,
Yep.
I'm already telling them.
You're
what
already
they're
setting
gonna
up
do.
actually the
The
expectation.
expectation.
Actually, that's gonna be the deal in the end.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
I'm
it.
telling them exactly what they're gonna do.
What they're going to do. That's why I say later tonight after you sign the paperwork. I'm setting the expectation that you're signing tonight. You got a question?
Yeah, so like, I guess what if they push back again and they're like, well, like, what if you miss something? I want to show you how you should show my home. You know,
We'll
'cause,
have
like,
that
if we sign
opportunity
that
later
contract-
tonight after we sign the paperwork. You can show me everything that I need to know, everything that should be on the property brochure. We can cover it later on tonight.
And you can say also what buyers see, like the most
Yeah.
important things. I will cover all those things. I'll make sure I won't miss anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you do your tour. Go ahead.
What about the seller who wants to be in control and they don't want, they think, well,
I
this
think that
person's
was
really
the other
forceful. That last person let me take control. I'm going to go with them.
Yeah.
So
See
listen,
ya.
Yeah.
and that can happen. And let me tell you, you're going to have sellers that don't want to work with you for a variety of reasons. And if you're doing your job, that's okay because you should have a pipeline filled of other sellers who are willing to work with you. And next, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you do the tour, you come back, you sit at the
David, when
table.
you say if their motivation though was like, they gotta go and they're just putting up this front, you gotta see a little through that and
Well, of
go
course, of
work
course.
with them.
And you should not be on an appointment if they're not motivated and coachable. So one step I didn't talk about is pre-qualifying. That's before you even show up. You pre-qualify to know motivation. We have to stop going to see people who are just testing the market, who aren't serious. It's wasting our time. It makes us feel good because we can post and tell people, hey, I have this listing presentation I'm going on. However, if they're not motivated, it's a waste of time.
Can you give them the seller's disclosure or something?
You can give them seller's disclosure to start filling out, like a seller's information sheet, all the contact information, phone numbers, birthdays, all that information. They can fill that out when you're doing the quick tour around the house. Kathy, go ahead.
I actually give up the worksheet because
The
the worksheet is really
NJMLS
quick.
worksheet.
The NJMLS worksheet,
Yep.
it's simple for them to do. I say, please do this while we're going through the house, and then we'll review it together, and that takes like 5 minutes for them to do it, and it gives a point of conversation. I think the other thing that I've learned is also you have to trust your gut. You also don't want to come across where you're so confrontational about seeing this house. So if they're really like here, and they're really like saying, I really want to be there with you, there's a point where you're just like, great, let's go through, but I really want to go through. Let me look at it through the eyes of the buyer. So you're reinforcing that this is going to be quick. And I promise, I always have them, I promise
Promise,
once I start working for you, we're gonna go through, cause I wanna hear what your favorite parts of the house are. So, and that usually works, but you also don't wanna be like where they think like, well, you're a pain in the neck to work with.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be careful.
You have to read the room and know who you're meeting with too, and that comes with experience.
A lot of
Last
them
point,
connect,
I'll let you get this. Go ahead.
sorry,
No,
a
go
lot of
ahead.
connect the pricing you're gonna give them with seeing the house and
Right.
seeing everything that's important. So
Right.
like, how do you not know what, like if I can't tell you that I just had this recently updated, I can't tell you that this is recently.
That should happen when you pre-qualify. You should know about those things.
Mhm.
But you bring up a good point about price, because a lot of us will walk around the house and we'll come back and we'll sit down in front of the seller. Oh, I love your house. What a great house. The kitchen, fantastic. And we're like praising the house. And when we praise the house, what is the seller hearing?
It's
Ching, right?
Yeah.
So I always say, thank you for letting me see the house. I actually have 3 questions for you. Can we get started? And I have 3 questions in the beginning. What's question number 1?
Do you really?
Do you really have to sell your home?
You're
I've
ready
been
to listen to
practicing
me?
your scripts. Do you really need to sell your house, right? What's number 2?
Will you price it
Do
to
you
sell or do you want
really-
to keep it on the market?
Do you want to price it to sell or do you want it to sit on the market? That's number 2. Number 3 is,
Do you want me to sell your home?
nope,
Do you want,
Determine the
do you
motivation
want
to
me to
sell.
handle the stuff?
thank you. Do you want me to handle the sale for you? And if they say yes, what do?
You go right to
Like
the
the
paperwork.
paperwork.
Shut up and get to the price and the paperwork sign, right? So
That's it.
I bring that up because a lot of times you say, do you want me to handle the sale? And people say yes, and you don't hear that. You just
Yeah.
keep talking,
Yeah.
and you can talk yourself out of getting the listing. So if they say yes, you know, go right to pricing, select the price, get the paperwork signed.
How often does that happen that they say yes right there?
It depends on how well you set up in the beginning, right? If you've done your job and you've gone through your script, you pre-qualified, you sent over your pre-listing packet, they know they want to work with you, they like the way you came in and took control, because they're looking for someone to take over and get their house sold. They may have their mind made up that they want to work with you. How many sellers only interview one agent? What percentage? 71%. Only interview one agent, right? So the opportunity is there for you to get the listing. It's when you open your mouth that you win it or lose it, which is why we're here, so that when you open your mouth, you're saying the right things.
And just to that, pre-qualifying, it's something that I always was like afraid to ask, but you have to say, are you gonna interview anyone else? Because you wanna know ahead of time so you've got the right mindset going in, that you know either you just wanna work with you or they are planning to meet other people.
Okay. For those of you who are hearing people mention the word pre-qualifying and you don't know what that's all about, there's this really great class called Push 2.0 where I teach you what that's all about, that you need to learn how to pre-qualify. And the most important question on that form to me is when I come out and meet with you Wednesday at 6 p.m. you feel comfortable with me, you feel confident I can sell your home, do you plan on listing your house with me Wednesday? I want to know all the pushback they're going to give me, all the objections they have. I'm not going to cover those right then, but I want to be prepared. Would you guys rather know the objections you're getting up front, or do you want to be blindsided when you show up? You want to know up front. So that's why we pre-qualify, so we can figure all that out. So they say, hey, I don't want to list with you right now. Let's see what you have to say. So then we have 3 goals for our meeting. We're like outlining everything we cover. What's the first goal?
To determine the motivation to sell.
And the price. The second goal for the meeting is what?
Answer any questions.
Answer any questions you have for me. And the third one is what?
If they're gonna list with you or if you're gonna have.
Decide to take their list.
Oh, if you're
I
gonna
want you,
decide to
you guys
sell
know
it.
it, so I want you to say it with more confidence. We're going to decide tonight if you choose to list with me, or if I decide to take your listing.
Anyone is fine.
And either one is fine. Anyone is fine. That's the next sprint. Why do we say that?
Because
So
you
they
don't
know
wanna
that you're not
work-
just gonna take
You
it
don't
for
wanna
listing.
work for unmotivated
Yes.
sellers.
That you're not just asking.
But the expectation is we are making a decision today. Either you're going to list with me, or I may choose not to even take your listing. And they will say, like, what do you mean you wouldn't take my listing? Why wouldn't we take listing? Overprice? Someone wants me to overprice it? Yep. Running ads in the New York Times every weekend, doing open houses every weekend, stuff like that we know doesn't work, right? That's not the highest and best use of our time, I should say that, right? All right. And then we go right into the script. How buyers determine value, right? Then we go over the CMA, we go over the pricing. We go and walk through all the comparables and we come up with a price range and get them to decide where to list the property. Now that's when we start getting a lot of objections. Up until then, they're listening, they're answering our questions. When we start talking about price and why we are telling them their house is worth $700,000 based on the comps.
Do you ask them, sorry David, do you
Yes.
ask them, do you have a number in your mind before you say the number?
That's done during the pre-qualification. When I come out and meet with you, what price would you like to list your house at? You find that out at the beginning,
Okay.
and it helps you gauge if they know what's going on. If they're in the $700,000 neighborhood and they're telling you $900,000, it's like, okay, I gotta really work with these people. But if they understand, like, hey, $750, you know that they understand what's happening in their area. So that's covered beforehand. So we start talking about price, right? This is when we start getting all the pushback. I want to list at $750. The house is only worth $7, right? I have a great house. I just put in the septic. I just put in a new roof. It should be worth more money. The house is only worth $7. We're sitting at this table, right? We have the seller sitting here, and they want their price. However, we want to get the property sold, which means the market is telling us where it should be priced. And so that's what we're going to cover today. Like from this point on, that's what we're covering. The conversations that we have with sellers, the pushback we get from sellers, we're covering that today. So I want you guys to do something for me. I want you guys to count off 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go around the entire room. So go ahead, start. And remember what your number is. 1.
Thank you.
Okay.
1.
3.
1.
1.
2, 3.
What am I?
You're
You're Fatima.
Right.
You're
1, 2,
3.
3. 1, 2, 3. 1,
1, 3.
2, 3. 1.
3.
1.
2.
3. 1.
2.
3. 1. 1. 2.
1.
2.
3.
1.
2.
1. 2. 1.
Look at you guys. Ooh. Trying to stand behind me here. 1, 2. All right, so I want 2 of the ones to come up and sit here. So 1 and 1 to sit here. All right.
I'm 1, I can just stay.
You can just stay here. That's why I said you're all set up. All right? We're going to have some fun here. I want to start off by saying this. Safe space. We are here to practice what we should be saying to a seller, right? It's okay if you have a question. Nope, you're over here. It's okay if you don't know what to say. You can always phone a friend. You got all these people around here that can help you. We're going to work on what we should be talking about when we're sitting in front of the seller. So who wants to be the seller?
Put your hands together for
Everybody's like, I'm leaving.
I'll be the seller.
I could be a seller at some point.
That's something perfect.
Put your
Perfect.
hands together for
Who said they could be the seller?
Samra.
Okay, Simmer. All right. So here's what I wanted to say, just for this. Simmer, if we had to put it on the scale of 0 to 10, 0 being super easy seller and 10 being a Harriet level seller, right? And when we say Harriet, we mean the seller that gives us a hard time. When I say Harriet, I don't mean Hazel, right? It's a seller that's giving us a hard time, right? That's called a Harriet, okay?
Well, they're gonna be like 3 different versions of objections, right?
One
Nope,
objection.
same objection, 3 different ways to handle it.
Okay,
And we'll talk through it, right?
alright.
And a lot of times, if you feel like, hey, I don't know the script, what is your gut telling you to say? As an example, I'm meeting with the seller, and they say, David, will you lower your commission? If I don't know the script, do I really want to lower my commission?
No.
So the response is no. Any other questions? That's the script. Just that simple, right? So don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. No, any other questions? And half the time, that's all you need to say because their friend said, see if they'll negotiate. And when you say no, any other questions, and you shut up, they'll say, oh, okay, and they'll sign the paperwork. So don't overthink it. If you don't know how to respond, it's okay. We'll help you through it.
But
So-
don't all just say that, please, for the sake of this class.
So, and Hazel, thanks for bringing that up because here's the thing. The first person goes, you can't say what they said. You have to say something different. We need 3 different ways to handle the same objection. So here's the scenario, right? Samra, she's moving to North Carolina to retire. and she's moving into a house she already owns. She has to be there by February 1st, right? She wants $725. She installed a septic about a year ago, and she wants to recoup that money. However, the sold comps are showing the value of $690, and the active comps are priced at $680. That's our situation right now, right? So, Simra, I'd like for you to just start off and say, I can't do it at $680. I need $725. I want to hear how you would talk about the pricing and getting her to price it where it needs to be
And
priced.
just to clarify, we are right now in the house in a meeting or over the phone?
You're sitting at your kitchen table, coffee in hand, having a conversation.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
I want $725 and not $1 less.
I recognize that. When we spoke on the phone last week, when we set up the phase appointment, you had mentioned to me that you need to be down there by February 1st. And if you recall, in my pre-listing packet, I did include the market analysis. And if you recall, all the comps were showing everything on the market right now is listed at $680. The good news is they're closing at $690. So there is an opportunity for the price to come up if we get that number right.
But everything's selling $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over asking. Why shouldn't my house go at that number?
Why shouldn't your house go at that number? Well, again, have you taken a look at the comps? Like, if you recall, we talked about 123 Main Street was the most similar to yours. What improvements have you made to?
Well, I've done
And
a
then
new
that's-
septic, which cost me $50,000, and I want to get that money back. I want to make up for the money that I spent on the house.
I recognize that. What I would like to understand is what is more important to you? Being in North Carolina February 1st or the $725,000?
To be in North Carolina in February 1st.
Yeah. And we will price the property to get you there, and the market is going to dictate that price.
Okay.
Okay, so let me pause right there. How do you guys think she's doing?
I think it's
But I think I should bring the point of the septic tank, like, did you install the septic tank for the next buyer that's coming in? Or do you think every buyer who walks in needs a functional, working septic? And they should be able to use the restrooms?
Like that. And then Nina.
I like that you were started to ask her questions. You're saying a lot of as you recall. She may not recall.
Yeah, I was thinking about
So
that. Yeah.
you have to ask her more questions. Did you look at the market analysis? Asking more questions will get her to realize that she might be unrealistic about the price.
Love it. Nina?
And continuing what Lisa said, ask a question, pause with the tie down and wait for her to answer. Like, you said that you want to move, right? And then, wait for her to knock. Why, yeah. I mean, I thought you were asking a question and then giving all the information herself versus waiting and getting her answer.
Great input. So raise your hands if you're currently in push 2.0 right now. All right, so what should she have said that she didn't say?
Why do you think our house is worth more?
50 grand more, right? She kind of said that. There's another piece I'm looking for.
Don't all houses need septic?
Comparative shopping?
Don't all homes need a
Well, I
septic?
mean, in your
Yeah.
area.
In your area, yes. And so,
So that's just, you're basically, putting it to selling standards, so.
you're bringing it up to selling
Bringing it up to
standards,
selling.
right? I don't know if you got that, what she was saying, right? All homes need septic, so really you brought it up to selling standards, right? You're doing a tie down. You brought it up to selling standards, right? And you're saying right, and you're nodding your head, and they're gonna start nodding their head as well, because they do agree with you. They had to put the septic in. They didn't put that in just to sell. Their septic failed, and they needed a new one a year ago. All right.
You can maybe also say that when you bought this house, you had a functioning septic. Is that correct?
I mean, yes, you could.
And also the other homes that are listed right now, they're all functional and in the standard,
Absolutely.
so they're
Absolutely.
listed at that number, so.
Okay. How would you handle that?
Alicia, is your name, right?
Yes.
Alicia, I understand that you want 725, right? And I also recognize that you put a lot of effort and a lot of work in this house to have it in the market. And let me ask you one more question. You moved to California, right? So what's the reason?
North Carolina.
To
retire. To retire.
To retire, right? Oh, to retire, right?
Yeah.
So, how much you pay here in this property right now? Like
25 years.
25 years, right?
Yes.
So, let me ask you another question. You pay taxes in this property, right?
Yeah.
And you wanna move in February, right? Definitely, right? So you wanna keep paying taxes in this property until you sell this property over there?
Yeah.
You don't wanna pay taxes, right? You
I
wanna
wanna,
keep paying.
well, if I wanna get my numbers,
You
so.
wanna get your numbers, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, according to the market value, if you have the caps over here, I mean, I have the comps, right? Properties have been listed for 680, right? So, and these properties have been here in the market for 30 days, for more than 30 days. You know what that means?
What does it mean?
So what does it mean? Tell me.
No, I'm asking you. You know what that means?
No, I don't.
You don't know, right? So.
Let me jump in. It's all good. What I appreciate about you is you're attempting to ask questions, right? In which that's something we should be doing. So I want you guys to take notes. I want feedback, but I'm going to wait until everyone goes to get feedback. So we're going to pause there.
Yeah. And don't be nervous. Don't move.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
Well, so-
control your body.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm out.
I know you're nervous. Hold a pen or something
Yes.
that's gonna control your anxiousness, because we all have those moments.
And see, for me, like when I get anxious, I just kind of squeeze on this a little bit, put all my nervous energy into like a pen, and keep my hands down.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to work on that because we all. I was outside earlier jumping around getting my jitters out. We all have it, so I get it. Angie, what would you say? No, listen, you know. What would you say?
So I was gonna say, what do you think their house is worth?
Because there's no inventory. There's everything selling like bananas. So I want the 725. I'm not moving from that number.
Remember though, active comps are listed at 680. This is a conversation. So
Right. So based on the comparative market analysis that we went over, the market dictates us that right now active comps are listed at 680 for your house. And so I think you want to sell your house as I think you want to price your house as a price that's going to.
no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is where you practice.
Well, a little bit of both.
Well, if you
Yeah.
want to be in Florida, maybe not North Carolina, but
She doesn't want to be. She has to be there by
you
February
have
1st.
to be in North Carolina, right? By
February 1st, yes.
Correct?
Yes.
If your house stays on the market, what do you think is gonna happen?
Good question.
And it doesn't sell?
I don't believe that's gonna happen.
What if?
I don't work with what if. I work with what is.
Okay, so.
Well, wait. She just said I don't work with what if. I work with what is. How could you use that?
So what is a 680 and that's it?
So talk about what is. Use her words
You
to
gotta
say,
go.
I love that. So let's talk about what is. Let's talk about what's actually happening right now in the market. Use her
Right.
words. And then you would say what?
Well, what is 680. It's on the market right now.
Yeah.
That's what is.
Right.
Homes that are on the market right now are priced at 680. That's what is.
So, yeah.
Right?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And let me just say this. But here's the thing I need you guys to understand. They're on the market at 680, which means what?
Not where they're gonna land.
They haven't gone under contract, which means they're not worth 680 right now. Right?
And where do you think the buyers are gonna spend their money? Pay $50,000 overpriced for your house, or they're gonna go to the competition and it's gonna be a lot less?
I like where you're going there. I would love for you to say that differently. Can anyone say what she just said differently? Leslie and then William and then Nancy.
So, do you know how buyers determine value?
No.
So, buyers determine value by comparison shopping. They look at, your house versus the competition of what's on the market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, imagine that there were two. So, I'm just going to give you an analogy. Obviously, we're talking about houses, your house, but I'm going to pretend that we're talking about cars. So, imagine you had a car. You went to a dealership. And one car was $50,000, and the same car was $50,000, but had an amazing sound system and these crazy rims. Which would be more valuable?
Obviously, the other one with more features.
Why?
It's
More for the same price?
it's more for the same price, and yeah, you get more for
Right. You get more.
you get more for your money.
Right. So what if you went to another dealership and the same car for $50,000 was reduced to $30,000 and didn't have the sound system or the fancy rims, which would be more appealing then?
I understand, but my neighbor next door, he had 17 offers, so those 16 people are still searching. I'm sure I'm gonna get an offer that he got something very similar. So I get your point, but I still have my trust that I'm gonna get that number.
Right, but your houses are not identical.
So I wanna pause really quickly. What she just covered with you guys as part of the listing presentation, that already would have been covered.
Right. You can't repeat that.
Yeah, you can use that as an example. Remember the car example, and you can go back to it and remind her about it. However, would it be helpful if we had her take off her seller hat and put on the buyer hat?
Yeah, that's right.
And we said, let's say you were moving into this neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And there were two
That would be
properties
good.
on the market. There were similar homes. One priced at $680 and one priced at $725. Which house would you buy? Zimra.
Identical. The 680.
Why?
It's the same and less money.
Right. And wouldn't you want to use that additional money to do what you wanted to the house, that additional $45,000?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Most buyers are just like you. And that's why we need to price it at $680 so we can get it sold. Does that make sense?
That's really good.
Right? So we just, and I said what? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a what?
Tie down.
And I should be nodding my head, right? That's another way we can handle it, right?
Yep.
Nancy, you were going to say
I
something.
was gonna say the same thing.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Nicole, you were going to say something?
Yours is definitely better. But mine is, do you want your price to sell your house or your neighbor's house?
Explain that, because that's a good one.
So if you overprice a house, all it's gonna do is sell the house that's the lower price.
Right, right. So if we price it at $725, what you're going to do is help sell all the homes that are priced at
That's
$680. The agents will show the house because they want to see, is there anything different or better about your home? When they see it's comparable to the home at $680, they're going to tell their clients, let's go to this house at $680 and get them to maybe negotiate down, but they are priced where they should be. So you'll get showings and activity. However, you're not going to get any offers, which means February 1st, you're still going to be in New Jersey and not in North Carolina.
You're gonna help those other sellers sell. Exactly, you sell
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
neighbor's house instead
That's
of
it. That's it.
Do you discuss in this type of a scenario also like pricing it at a below market value in order to attract a certain type of a number?
I do for a seller like you who wants a bidding war, then I'm going to tell you if we price it strategically. But here's the issue. Most agents are going in saying, okay, let's price it at $680 so we can get multiple offers. That's market value. That's not how you get multiple offers. How do you get multiple offers?
Below market.
Right, below. So we fall into this trap when we try to convince them to price it correctly to get multiple offers. That's not how it works.
Right.
The homes that are priced at $680 are still sitting there. They're not under contract. So that's not how you get multiple offers. You price it strategically.
And you might also, another thing have that if we price it at a high number, you might get one offer, a lousy offer that's gonna control you versus you controlling the other person. So you wanna leverage with multiple offers because then the other buyer that submitted the offer, the only offer they have, is gonna play games with you during the process. So he's controlling you versus you controlling them.
All right, so let's spend 5 minutes. Let's get some feedback to these three guys. Who has feedback?
I don't say to the seller, you don't know that, right? Because you're making them look like they're dumb and they don't know.
Yeah, I would fire you in a second.
That's good.
That's why I love you.
What else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just backtracking to what I said. So obviously that was in the listing presentation. So I should then what I should have said was, do you remember?
Remember the car example, how we went over that, and you said the car that was priced less, that didn't have all the features and benefits, was a better deal, right? Same situation, right? You take it back to that point in the listing presentation. Kathy?
I think one of the questions I would have asked is what's important about 725, because you were so adamant about 725.
Well, when she said it, I need to recoup my 50 grand for my septic.
But I think I would still go back again, because then I would say, well, we can market the septic, but what's been said already in this room is that, you know, a buyer is going to expect and should expect a functional septic system. So we can use it for market, but we can't use it for price.
And I always say this, you know, we have to win the price war, we also have to win the beauty contest, right? And what I mean by that is, if it's two comparable homes, and they come see your home, and we're pushing that you have a brand new septic, well, of course, people will want your house over the competition, so we'll get more people to come in and start writing up offers, and they want the home that has that benefit, that feature, the septic that's brand new, and that may cause us to get better offers and more money.
So can you ever, so they have a home, they already have in North Carolina. So can you talk about 2 mortgages if it stays on the market?
You could. You could. You could also say, how much is that home paid for? No, I have a mortgage on it, because there's still a mortgage on this home. And what does that look like if you're paying 2 mortgages? How long can you keep that up?
And how
you
much
can have
are
those
you lost?
conversations. How much are you losing? Yeah.
Mortgage payments or monthly cost of this.
Absolutely. One more, Kathy, go ahead.
The other thing that I do when we're talking about pricing strategically is I bring out the pyramid that's part of the KW listing presentation, so that visually I'm using that to ask them questions and talk to them about how the 725 would be at the point of the pyramid, we get the least amount of people, and that doesn't get us to February 1. Versus the sweet spot, which would be 680, which would be competition. If you want to be in the front of the line or head of the line. And then the base one would be, you know, we want to get you in February 1, let's position you slightly below market value to get you to February 1, and there's a good chance, can't promise, but a good chance we could create a multiple offer situation. So that's been helpful, because you're asking them questions and showing them the pyramids so that they visually understand that the point has a lot less than the base, which has a lot more.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you guys heard that. It's recorded, so you can listen back to that. That's great information. Raise your hand if you're a number 2. Hazel, will you just join me up there? Larry, raise your hand if you're a number 2. Keep your hand up. William. Ooh. Ira. Ooh. So, from 0 to 10, these guys, Hazel, I'd love for you to be about a 7.
Can I get a number?
Or do you want to do 10?
Now let me see what the scenario is.
All right, let's
Just take mine.
let's see what the scenario
You
is.
sure? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
How are you?
How
It's
are
a good three for now.
Yeah, how about this? So you're upgrading to a mother and daughter because your husband's mother will be moving in. You're pregnant with twins, right?
I'm not.
It has. And you're expecting in June, so it's you need to make this happen. They're very hesitant about listing because they haven't found a house. You haven't found anything that suits your needs, and so the current house you live in cannot accommodate the grandmother. So you guys have to move. You need the support. You want to wait to list your home until you find the right property. You agree to the price, you agree to the commission, that's not the issue. You just don't want to put your house on the market where you don't know where you're going. All right?
Asa, just remember, not only you're pregnant with twins, your mother-in-law.
You know what? Maybe you don't. Maybe no room. No room. It is closed.
Finding a smaller house.
Is it
Actually, been a ditch.
No, not for you though. All right. So how gonna start with Ira. So Ira, you know the deal. Let's hear what you got to say.
Ira, I like what you said. I agree on the price. I'm okay paying this commission, but honestly, like, how can I move? I don't even have anywhere to go. I absolutely have to wait until I find something.
If you wait until you find something,
Yeah.
how happy are you going to be with twins and your mother-in-law living here? There are options.
Yeah.
What's really important to you right now?
It's important to me to get a space where I can accommodate my mother-in-law moving in. She needs to help me with the babies. Ideally, it would be great if I could find something and get out of here. But if I put my house on the market and I don't have anything, where am I gonna go? With twins, Ira.
Where are you going?
I mean, Bergen County. Like a mother and daughter, like Bergen County. I cannot leave Bergen County.
And you realize how low inventory is right now in Bergen County?
Yeah,
Would you be willing to expand your radius a little bit?
I would
There are
like to
houses
stay
available.
here in Bergen County. It's important.
And what's important about Bergen County?
Because my husband commutes to the city, and ideally here would be the best place for us.
Did you know that there are some fabulous houses in Passaic County that are right near train stations as well, that will give your husband the ability to continue to commute?
I don't love Passaic County, but I can be open to talking to him, but I think he's gonna stay here in Bergen County. That's our ideally best.
And what's gonna happen if we don't start searching this again? How are you gonna manage with all of these people in the house, including two?
No, we need to search, so help me find a house, and then we'll get my house on the market.
Did you realize that the longer you wait to sell your house, there are buyers that you'll be losing out on? And did you realize that interest rates are scheduled to possibly creep up a little bit, which decreases the buyer's ability to buy houses?
I understand.
Don't you think that selling now is always better than selling later?
So where do I go if I don't find something suitable for what I'm looking for? Where do I go?
Would you consider the possibility of finding a rental property in the meantime?
I
once
can't
you
move
sell the
twice.
house?
No way. Twins moving twice? Absolutely not.
Ouch.
All right.
Would you be
So let's pause there. I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm not asking for feedback yet, because if you get feedback, then you're helping William and Larry. So I want it to be fair. So Ira, I'm gonna pause there. We're gonna give like 2 minutes per person, so we can speed. William or Bill. Bill's fine.
Bill! Okay, Bill, I need a mother and daughter house for my twins. My husband, we need to be in Bergen County. I cannot sell my house until I find something.
No, totally fair. And let me ask you something. What's more important? Waiting and living with your current standards, or putting your home on the market so we can find you a viable option? So like what I have to offer is, what if we put a contingency upon you finding a new home while we list your home, so we can do this simultaneously, so that way you don't lose the sense of buyer urgency that we have in the market right now. And then I can also help you find a mother-daughter home that suits you. Does that work?
And that contingency will give me how much time? Because I don't wanna rush and now if you panic that there's a contingency and I have to buy the first thing I see. I don't want that either.
Sure, of course. And the last thing I want to do is ever render you homeless. So I think
Because I'm moving
yeah.
in with you and my twins are my husband.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have plenty of room in my studio. You guys are
I love how you handled that. What you said was good, so I'm going to move on to Larry, because you brought up some really good points there. Go ahead, Larry.
Larry, hell no. I will not go without finding a house. I will not list my home until I find the home that I'm looking for.
I just want to paint a picture for you. Okay, right now, sellers are getting multiple offers on their homes. Okay, one of the things that attracts a buyer to a seller is their timing, right? So if you wait to put your house on the market and you're out there looking for homes and you find a home and you make an offer, telling that seller that you have to now put your house on the market to sell is going to make you less attractive as a buyer.
Okay.
So my advice to you is that you want to make yourself as attractive as a buyer as possible when you're out there looking to put yourself in the best possible scenario, and at the same time, we're putting your house on the market with a contingency that you need to find a place to live before you can sell the house. house to another buyer.
I like what you said, however,
With a
he was
quick
telling
question
her,
with that.
he was telling her, right? So she's gonna hear that and think, well, that's what you think, that's
Can
your
I
opinion.
add something to what he said? 'Cause
Then
I
one
think I-
second,
yeah.
one second. Say what you said to her, but ask her a question will get her to the same conclusion. Because what you said was good.
Okay.
Is there a question you can ask her? I don't want to lead you, so I'm hoping you'll go there.
If you were putting your house on the market and somebody was gonna buy your house, but after they made the offer told you that they had to sell a house first in order to buy it, would you accept their offer?
I mean, that's
That's
tough,
fair.
right? I probably not, because I would want someone that would, I wouldn't have to wait.
So then most buyers are in the same position you're gonna be in, so that's why it's important to have the plan already in place before you go out there and make an offer on a house.
I put my house on the market, I accepted an offer. Now what?
What are you gonna
How
do?
long do I have?
As long as it takes for you to find a house, but
So
the
if it
person
takes me
buy-
6 months to find a house, I'm okay.
Are you okay with it being 6 months?
When I find the
Great
right
question.
house, I'll know.
Great
Like,
question, back.
I wanna do it as soon as possible. But I'm just saying, if nothing comes on the market within 6 months, and I find what happens? Like, I can terminate, I can say,
Absolutely,
I'm not
that's the
selling.
contingency on the buyer, that they're gonna have to understand your situation. But my question to you was, if they were in your situation and had to sell, would you choose them over another buyer who could?
No, I would choose another buyer, of course.
So, you wanna put yourself in the same scenario, so we have to go out, we have to find you a place to live. That's very important. How long that takes is going to be in the contract, and make sure that the buyers buying your property understands that you have to find a place.
So legally, I would be protected.
100%.
Make her feel better about it though, and you're hiring me because I'm gonna find you the house, and how am I gonna find the house for you? There's
Yeah,
no-
how are you gonna find me a
How's
house?
Somebody here knows the secret. How would he find her the opportunity? I know you know so.
Let's take one problem at a time.
Ashley and then Nancy. You should hire me because I'm going to what?
I will proactively prospect for you. I will call places for you. I will knock on doors and make sure that I find a home that you will fall in love with.
There may not be homes available on the multiple listing service right now, but every day I prospect to find ready, willing, and able sellers. We talk to people all the time that would sell their home, they just don't want it on the market. We call those off-market properties. I will find you an opportunity. However, you are protected. If we don't find the right property, you're not obligated to sell your home. So why don't we do the right thing and sign the contract so I can start working for you?
Okay, and then
That's better than what I was trying to say.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm just saying that if I don't find a house, the buyer did their inspection, they sent me their deposit, I did not find a house.
They're agreeing to those terms up front. They understand the situation.
Okay, and if you don't find me a house, it's like you promised, you'll lower your commission because
Ooh.
now I have to stay here longer.
No, I appreciate that, but my commission's not part of this negotiation.
You sure?
We've already agreed to price the commission.
Dave,
Right.
I just wanna
Yes.
add that what I would say is, let's sign the papers and do the right thing and get your house on the market to position you in a great place to buy the house that we find. Because the last thing you want is for us to find that house, and then you're gonna be kind of putting yourself out of the running by having a contingency to put your house on the market.
You're pressing that pain button because you already said, Hazel, you wouldn't accept that offer. So if I go out there and I find the right house for you and your house isn't on the market, you're gonna lose that property. And I can't have you be in that position, right?
What about the lease back option?
Yeah, I was
So you guys are done. Good job for all three. You wanted to ask
I
something.
wanted to say this one thing. You're
Yes, go ahead.
amazing. So yeah. So you will sell your house. You sell your house within 1 month. We do a quick closing with this current buyer because you will not have a chance in this market to get anything accepted. We close on your current house in 1 month, and we'll do a 2 month lease back.
2 months, and what if that's not enough time
In the
for me?
meantime, we will search, we'll continue to search, and I will assure you, I
But
will
what,
find you
you're
the right
saying, you're
house.
giving me specific timeline,
Mhm.
2 months, I don't find a house in 2 months, I will
You're
not
being
be.
annoying now.
No.
But for her, that might not be the best option. That's probably not the best option. Okay, one second, I'm gonna go Stella, then Susan. Stella,
Oh, no,
right?
I was gonna do the lease back.
I want
Yeah.
Sarah to go back to that.
Yes.
Yes. She's giving me specific timeline.
Yes, yes, she's being annoying, but still, continue to rock, continue to rock.
Yeah.
Samra, you're saying, okay, we close in 30 days. 2 months, you'll help me like search for a home. What if I don't find a home in 2 months? Now I'm obligated to these 2 months lease, and I can't commit to that. Because if I don't find the right house,
Well, you
I
can't
cannot
extend the lease because the lender will not allow you more than 2 months.
Exactly.
Which
So
is-
I
Yeah,
don't
it will
feel
not.
comfortable with doing a lease back.
I understand that, however, with my average, searching of homes, my clients, not more than a month, you will be with a house. I guarantee you this. You have to trust me in this.
I love it. I love your confidence. And what I know about you, Simra, is you probably stay up until midnight and talk to every person that you would find it.
Yes.
I know
will
that
wake up
about
at
you.
7 a.m. in the morning every day instead of going to Facebook. I go to NGMLS or and also you will have actually the opportunity, since you know our group, you know who we are, we will show you also exclusive homes, so nobody can have
All right, so
a hand on it.
before we move
But
on to
trust
the next one, any feedback?
Yes, you
Great
have.
First time doing
I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Couldn't you also ask the seller if they need the equity from the sale to the next house?
Absolutely. Do you have to sell this home in order to buy the next property? Absolutely. It's a conversation we should be having.
That would be in the prequel.
It would. All right, so I'm opening this up to everybody. Who knows how to do this? So this one is near and dear to my heart, so I'm just going to toss it out there. I'll list my house with you right now. I'm not paying 6%. The other agent I met with yesterday said they do it at 5. If you will commit to 5, I'll give you the listing right now. I'm right here. And most of us would say, I'm right here. Right?
Reality.
That's right.
That's the reality.
Wait, say that again?
They're saying 2%. While we're in the meeting, hey, how are you, sir? Listen, I'm gonna list your house for 2%. Just give me a meeting. I'm like, let's sign up.
Right.
2%. It's not 5, 2.
There are people out there to do it, right? But then there are plenty of people in this room who get 6%. I know a lot of you too. But it's happening. We're gonna have to fight for our commission a lot more than we have in the past. It's happening. So
Those discounted brokers are the ones that are like kind of in the
Yes.
driver's seat, unfortunately.
okay. So let's stop talking about it and tell me how you're gonna get the listing at 6%.
Can I try?
There's no try.
Do you know how commission works, David? I'm just curious.
I think so.
How does it work?
I mean, you charge a commission, I pay you, and that's what you get paid to sell my house.
Alright, I'm gonna simplify this, and
Okay.
I hope that's okay.
Sure.
So, I'm gonna explain what 6% is.
Okay.
This is my 6%, right?
Uh-huh.
Half of that goes to the buyer's agent, because they're gonna be wanting to bring the buyers
Mhm.
who are gonna be buying your home. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Sure, it
So
does.
that 3% doesn't come to me.
Okay.
So I'm left with how much then of that 6%? 3%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of that 3%, I unfortunately have to be Uncle Sam, I gotta pay them tax, right?
Of course.
I gotta be legal, so yeah, I gotta pay that tax.
Mhm.
So I'm left with 2%.
Yeah.
I work for Keller Williams, it's the number 1 brokerage in the country. I gotta pay them. They take my money. So I got another 1% goes right there.
Okay.
I'm left with that teeny tiny 1% left, right?
Okay.
Of that 1%, I'm gonna be using 50% of that to market your home.
Okay.
We did cover what I would be doing to market your home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
we
you
went
talked
over
about
that.
it?
I read it in your packet, yeah. Mhm.
Right, so then I'm left with that 0.5%.
Okay.
That's what I use to feed my kids, you know, pay the bills and be an agent.
Right.
Does that sound fair?
Okay.
So that's just, you know, just how percentage works. Now, that other agent that you mentioned, he wanted to come in at,
He said he'd do it at 5, and I don't know what he has to pay out if he's willing to do it at 5, and that saves me 1%.
completely understand. Where do you think he's gonna be saving to make up that money so that he can bring more money to his family? Where do you think
I don't
he'll be
really
like
care.
cutting corners?
I don't know.
Do you think it could be maybe the marketing that he might do for you? Because he's still getting that 1% that I explained, right?
Well, he explained what he does for marketing, and just like you said, professional photos, and he's going to have a stager, and he's going to do open houses. He pretty much said what you said.
Right. Is he also gonna give you Facebook ads? They all do the 3 Ps. Do you know what the 3 Ps are?
Okay, I'm going to pause you there because I know you know what you're saying.
Okay.
You're good. Did you guys hear what she said?
Mhm.
Yeah. The only thing I would add to that would make the illustration stronger is what? Having the actual like dollar bills and like here I get paid 6%. Let's like lay all these out, like lay it out and go through the example. It's powerful when they can actually see it. And you're like, this 3% goes to the buyers. That's gone off the table. So I like having the dollar bills, or you can even use business cards. It doesn't have to be money, but the dollar bills really represent the conversation. I like where you're going with the 3 Ps, but I want to have somebody else jump in. You guys heard what she did. She explained how commission works. Most people don't understand that. And yet I'm still saying 5% works for me. Close me down in like 2 minutes. Go ahead, Nicole.
So, when you are looking for an agent, are you looking for someone to negotiate on your behalf?
Sure. I mean, that's the whole point, right?
Okay. So, if in our first conversation, I sacrificed my paycheck,
Mhm.
what does that mean I would do for you?
I'm not following. What do you mean?
Well, if I'm already in our first conversation about to cut the paycheck by 1%, if all of a sudden there were offers on the table, do you think I would negotiate for you or against you if I'm instantly ready to negotiate against myself?
I'm not sure on that, but I have to tell you, I'm an attorney, so I know how to negotiate. I feel pretty comfortable that I can handle that.
Okay. How many houses did you sell last year?
I haven't sold any.
Okay. All right. With my track record and that 6%, I can guarantee I can get your home sold.
I believe you can get it sold. I think the other guy can do it too at 5%.
Okay.
That 1% is a very big deal for me.
Okay. And why is that?
I mean, this house is $800,000. That's $8 grand.
Mhm.
That's money I can put into my next property.
Mhm.
So if I can say that, I mean, why wouldn't I?
Okay. I'm done.
No, you're not.
No, I honestly am. Like,
Can
tell
I
me.
just- From
Yeah.
what I heard,
Yes.
when you were trying to
I'll give your money
explain
back.
to him, like, what do you in our first conversation, I'm already cutting my commission 1%. How am I knew what you were gonna
Me
say
too.
because
Right.
we all knew.
Yeah.
What is selling
didn't come
to
across
me,
well.
like that you're already giving up, that you are not going to do right by me, so I'm not gonna hire you. Like,
Right.
that's what I heard. I would have put on the other person.
Right.
You know, this other person couldn't even defend their commission. What do you think they're gonna do
Okay.
with your
Your
money?
money.
When
Yeah.
you know,
That's
I'm
exactly
a
it.
bulldog.
Right.
I will stand by you and negotiate and get you the best rate. So it sounded that you were going to be a traitor if you agreed to that commission. If that
I
makes
read something too, just 3 days ago, somebody posted on Facebook, I'm just gonna try to repeat it.
Go for it.
You know, Mr. Seller, did you ever do overtime in your life, like work overtime?
All the time.
Awesome. So, would you give a discount to your employee? Let's say you had a boss, and I know you're an attorney, you don't have a boss, you're your own boss, but you would discount your time because you work
No.
overtime. Would you
I
do
expect
that?
to get paid more.
Okay, so same thing with us. So if we would actually discount our commission because of the overtime and everything we do, what do you think? What kind of job would I be giving you? What kind of job would I do if I?
Yeah, but with this market, you're not even working hard. The houses are selling in a day. You're not going to have to work overtime. I'm not concerned about that.
Now you're being annoying.
Bring up a separate tough
He's
love.
very annoying right now.
That
is the reality.
Any idea what
they say
sales
is the reality.
price ratio is?
I think, yeah, I do. I understand.
So basically what happens is this, with a discount broker, they're not gonna defend their commission, they're already showing you how their business model is by offering a discount just to get the job. Or they're gonna be cutting their commission because they're not strong negotiators.
Okay.
I don't do that. What I do is I build a buzz about your property, get as many people in here as possible, and we make multiple offers, so we have an auction. We wind up getting a higher price, which by far will cover the extra 1% that I get. Right now, my price to sales ratio is at 108% of the listing price.
Okay.
Most other agents are around 100, 101, especially in this market. And before this crazy market, they were usually around 92 to 93.
Okay.
I'm at 108. So by using me at 6%, you're going to wind up making an additional 4 to 5%. Is that understandable? And on a $500,000 house, you're talking about an extra 25 grand in your pocket when you walk away from the closing.
So yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad that you brought the number up because you might lose a regular seller. I'm following you because I know what you should be
Well,
saying.
the percentage thing is to show them what you're doing.
Right.
The number thing cements how much extra money. So $25,000 when you walk away from the closing table. Is that something that you're?
Absolutely. You heard what he said though, right? My list price to sales price ratio is 108%. The other agents that you're interviewing, they're doing 100. That means by hiring me, you're going to put in 8% more. How much is your home going to be listed for? $800,000, right? That means with me, you're going to put how much more in your pocket? $64,000. So what are we talking about? The additional $8,000 that you'll pay me a commission, or the additional $64,000 you're going to put in your pocket?
Yeah.
That wouldn't pose a
That's
problem
amazing.
if I made you $64,000 more, would it? No. All right, then let's sign the paperwork and let's go to work.
So wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on. You want to talk about that?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
How do I know?
How do you know?
So if I did my job correctly, part of pre-qualifying is, are you interviewing other agents for the opportunity to list your home? Yes, I am.
Okay.
Who are you interviewing? You give their name.
How do I know
He's gonna get the.
you're gonna get more money than that guy?
Well, this is it. Me
Okay.
doing the research, pulling the comps, and
Mhm.
coming down with stats to show you.
Okay.
Hey,
What if you
this
don't
is
have stats?
Yeah, what if you don't have?
What if you're a newer agent, like most of
Right.
the folks in this room?
Okay, so here's a question. New
question.
agents here, what is the list price to sales price ratio in this office or in your office?
101.
101? Okay, you should know that. You should know what your numbers are. And so if you're a brand new agent, you don't have your number, it's the office number. We sell homes for 101% of list price.
Okay.
But the
The-
other agent will also cover
But-
it in GSR.
They will ask you what you would have.
That's a good one.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Well, my partner Tony Tyson.
Say that, because that's gonna happen to
I
him.
do.
I didn't
Right,
know
right,
that.
I think. So she said KW, you said, what did she say?
She's saying that they're gonna turn around and go, yeah, but then how many did you sell?
They asked
So how do you combat that if they don't really have too
So
many sales?
so here's the thing. And this
You'll be my
is,
first deal.
I believe this to be true based on my
Fantastic.
experience. When they come at you and they're like, how many homes did you sell though? They're feeding off of your energy and your lack of confidence a lot of times.
Yeah.
Which is why coming here, practicing the scripts, going through a program like Push to learn the listing presentation gives you confidence to show up. You could be a brand new agent and based on your presentation, they're wowed by you. And at the closing, when you say, thank you for the opportunity to sell my first house, they're like, what? This is your first house? It's when you open
Don't
your
say
mouth
that.
and you're
Don't
not
say that.
answering the questions, or when they give you an objection, you look like a deer in the headlights. Then they're like, how many houses have you sold? So there, a lot of times they feed off your energy, which is why you practice in here, not on your paycheck.
I have something.
One of them, she gave me an interview. She's interviewing everybody, and she's like 3-4 realtor, and she was having questions. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to an interview.
Yeah.
And one of them, that question, how much you sold. So
Yeah.
I said, well, our office is well known, and we are number one in NGLS. She said, no, I need to know you how much.
I need to know how many homes you sold. And what did we say to that brand new
So,
agent?
what
And
should I
they're asking us how many have you sold? How do we answer
I
that?
did told her.
What did
I
you
have,
say?
I have too many now I'm working on, and some of them now already under attorney review and some under contract. So I didn't tell her that I closed,
All right.
and I didn't lie.
So let's say you don't have anything under contract though. You're a brand new agent. This is your
No,
first opportunity.
I lied on this.
Were
I
you
didn't have.
It's a fibbing.
My first listing appointment.
No,
It's
what you
just-
say?
Tell the
Make
truth,
it
right?
make you
Yeah,
hungry.
I mean,
Excited,
that's not what I
hungry.
don't think that's not my question.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's your question? I want to
So-
make sure I get you.
This is something that I struggle with, so I apologize.
Yes.
But it's like when you say to someone, I'm gonna get you more money than the next guy.
Yeah.
How? Why? Like 101, everyone's at 101 right now. So the problem that I have trouble defending is when you say, oh, you know, I would sell the house for more money than this guy, or I can get you X amount of money, or you know, things we say sometimes to get in the door.
Right.
Are we just
If you
like
can't
we're
back
just
it up, if you can't back it up, don't say it, right?
Right.
However, let's say everybody's getting 101.
Right.
What's your USP? Why would they hire you over someone else?
Right.
What's your snap? Like
Can I say something
know-
that I think people miss?
Messi and then Hazel. Go ahead.
So I think that the reverse prospecting kind of comes in when people, and I haven't done a listing presentation, so I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm coming, yeah. So I would go in and I say, listen, this is a list of 40 homes that I have reverse prospected. These are all the agents that are looking for your house. 40 of them, similar style, 4-bedroom, 2 bath. I'm gonna reach out to every single one of them to make sure they're bringing the buyers to your home. Did that other agent do that for you?
Okay.
That's
But
one
does
thing.
that mean that you're gonna? All right, you know what? I'm
Well,
down a
let's-
rabbit hole. No,
let's say-
I'm down a rabbit
But
hole.
let's
I'll talk
say,
to you after class.
but here's the thing. Let's say it's not about more money. Everybody's at 101.
Right.
However, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just getting the price; it's getting it through to the closing table.
Right. Of course.
So, like, what's your USP on why they will hire you? That's something we need to know and should be able to talk about. Hazel, and then I think Mina has something, and then Leslie. I feel like I left you behind on something.
No, I was gonna say exactly what you said right now.
Okay.
It's not just, you know, I know money is important for you and what you net on this house is important to you, right, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. However, you need a strong negotiator, you need a strong agent like me, because when a buyer shows up here and they do inspection and they come here with a list of 50 things that they want fixed,
right.
you need someone like me that's gonna help you through this and defend you through this and
Yeah.
give you the best
And have
terms
a plan
to
B.
make like so don't focus so much on like, well, I'm gonna do this. Hey, the market's great, you know,
But deals are falling apart left and right.
exactly. And
Right.
you need someone that is gonna squeeze everything that they can
Right.
and help you through this.
And you're a lawyer, right? You're a lawyer by profession, right?
Right.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So you've been in that position where you work with other lawyers who are not defending their clients as well as you do. You see the value of having a better lawyer or somebody else not doing their job as professionally.
Right. Right.
Okay. So Kathy, then Samara, and then
Mike, I have 2 comments. One, I think is goes back to, you know, David, as you talk about value proposition, I think that upfront building rapport and making sure that you really are listening to what their needs are and what their goals are, and that you're answering them, so that the more you show your value up front, the less the numbers become conversation.
Right.
So I think that is really something that sometimes we all shortchange, because we get an appointment and then we run, but we haven't really built up, you know, that rapport with it. I
R
also
factor,
think, and Nancy
yes.
was talking about this earlier, the 3 Ps.
yes.
If I need to go there with the 3 Ps, I actually have 6 Ps. So
Okay.
the 3 Ps are put a sign in the yard, right?
Put it on the
Put it on
MLS.
the MLS, right, and pray,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
that's what most,
Yes.
and you kind of say that with a laugh.
Right.
My additional one is 3 are prospecting. So I go and I'm proactively prospecting for you. I'm watching the market. I forget what the P is.
Price
but-
watch. Price watch.
Thank you, everyone. But the 3rd one, and I end with it, is partnership. So this is a partnership, and communication is so important. And we are partners in selling your home, and then I talk about that, and so that's my 6P.
I love it. But I also like that you talked about building rapport. I call it the R factor. I
Right.
always say the word contact, we're all making contacts to get business, and the word contract. The only difference between those two words is the letter R, building rapport, building the relationship. When you do that, when you dig and understand their motivation and what's important to them, they're going to want to work with you because they don't care what you know until they know you care about them. I firmly believe that. So you create the opportunity up front by digging through motivation. Did you have something, Leslie? No? Yes?
I have a question.
Okay, so Raj, and then I think Stella, and then I'll come over to you. Go ahead.
Can you go back and say, you know, like when you bring up the list of inspections? So what if this person could defend their commission? They see that list and be like, sorry, you know, I can't defend that. You said you wanted to be in North Carolina by June or February. What would that do for you if the deal falls apart?
Right.
You know, so you kind of try to go back to motivation.
Because it doesn't just fall, it can fall apart in several different areas, right? So you need someone who can negotiate, right? Okay.
And then the other thing is, like, if they say, have you sold any homes in this town? Because there are two listings I have, I've never visited the house before the listing.
Right.
But you can always show them from NGMS where the buyers are coming from.
Yeah.
They're not all living in that town.
So if you look at most towns, what percentage of buyers live in the town and buy a house in that same town? Do you guys know that? About 15%. So what about the other 85% of buyers, right? We need everyone. We need to expose it to
They're
everyone.
like, oh, do you know where the training student schools? Like, you can find that, you know. And most of the people who come to your town are not from this town.
Right. So we can find all that information out. You're right. Stella.
Just going back on the when we were talking about an agent who has a lot of listings and this is your first listing, could you say, well, this person, they're a listing agent, but if you hire me, I will, like, you know, be your mama bear. I'll be there to do everything. Whereas the listing agent might just list the home and then hand it off to someone else to sell off.
What kind of customer experience are you looking for?
You know, like,
There's a
you
different way
got
to
me
say it.
Yeah.
But I like where you're going. How else can we say what she's bringing up, what Stella's saying? How else can we position it? Larry?
I guess, because I work with buyers pretty much all the time.
Okay.
I would just say, you know, this is my first listing appointment.
Okay.
But I have experience working with buyers, and so I can really anticipate what's going to be coming your way. That experience with the buyers is going to allow me to position put your home in the best possible way, versus an agent that only takes listings and doesn't really have the buyer side experience.
Right. Well, you need a buyer for this house, right? That's why you want to hire me, because I also have that expertise in knowing how
See,
to get out there.
that's the one thing I tell too much, and you make me ask the question, which is
It's important.
It's important
because when we tell, it's our opinion. When we ask questions and they come to that, it's fact. Right? So we have to be better at asking questions. Is there a question back here or again? Go ahead. Say again?
No question.
There are no dumb questions.
It's definitely no dumb questions.
So when you, the contract, signing the contract, when you go to the appointment, do you actually bring the papers with you or do you email it to them? And how do you like?
I believe if I walk out of that house and I don't have paperwork signed, I may not get the listing. How many of, so I bring paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many of you guys have had a seller say, great, we're going to list with you, you send the listing paperwork and they ghost you?
Yes.
It happens. Sometimes another agent calls at the 11th hour and they come in and lower their commission or offer a higher price. At the very least, I am getting the listing contract filled out when I'm there. At the very least. I can send all the other documents later. I want you committed to me. So I bring all the paperwork and I go over it with you, make sure you understand it. I like walking out of there being able to say, I have a listing, not like I'm getting a listing. I have a listing. So I say take the paperwork.
No, what I meant was, do you email it to them and say, open your email and sign it?
I bring paperwork, actual paper I want you to sign on the dotted line. That's how I operate. I'm not saying you have to do it that way, but my whole belief system is always, if I don't have it signed when I leave, I don't want that. What if there are printers I need? Right? I just want to have everything and be prepared.
The minimal, I take the residential listing agreement and the consumer information.
That's it. Those
the
two
minimal.
minimum, right?
I will
And
tell
then
you,
everything else you
I had a listing appointment where I nailed it, and I had the listing, and I didn't have the paperwork, and I was so proud. I said, oh no, we're a technology company. I'm going to email you the documents and you can sign them. Well, I'm meeting with another agent later on today,
Oh.
and I said, would you like me to call them and cancel it? And she said, that would be so great. And as I was gonna dial a number, the doorbell rang, and she was on the porch. So I said, listen, you want me to get, she says, well, she's here, let her do her thing. She was a brand new agent, a young kid, like 20 years old, and I'm like, oh, I got it. No problem. The next day, I sent her the paperwork when I got home. The next day, I called and I said, "Did you sign it?" She says, "Oh, I already listed with that girl."
You broke the paperwork, right?
I never.
However,
always have.
That stings.
did you hear what Tony said? Tony said he was at a listing appointment. They had an appointment with another agent, and he said, "Can I call that agent and let them know you decided to list with me and cancel the appointment?" That's what we need to do. It's not, okay, meet with them and call me back and let me know what you decide. Because the other agent now knows they've met with you.
Yeah.
They heard that you're charging 6 and you want to list it at 7. So they're going to charge 5 and list it at $7.25. They're going to buy the listing.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen. Sellers don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to call Tony and say, hey, I didn't list with you. They'll just list with the other agent and Tony will figure it out when it's up on the MLS. So if we take that off their plate, and what a lot of clients do who want to list with me and they have other appointments, they have me call those other agents and let them know that they've listed with me. It saves them a lot of time. They can stay home and stay with their family. They don't have to put these comps and all this work I did for you together. They can stop doing that. I'll let them know if they have a buyer, they can bring them to the open house and I'll share my commission with them. Can I make that phone call and cancel those appointments right now? I have canceled appointments. I've also been at home and someone's called me and said, David, you had a meeting with so-and-so. I just listed the property. And initially I was upset, but then I'm like, okay, now I can stay home. I don't have to finish these comps. I can be with my family. So what Tony said is correct. That's what we need to be doing. So I want to be respectful of everyone's time because I know that you guys need to get on the phone and go get some listings. So we can't keep this class going indefinitely. But let me ask you this. This was something new that I did today with the scenario, so I have to iron out some kinks. However, was it helpful?
Yes.
So if I did it again, you guys are saying you come back?
Yes.
Okay.
When
That's
do you
good
do
to
it
know.
again?
What? Say again? When? It's going to be in January. I'm about to take some time
Not
off.
if I do it again.
When I do it again.
When?
And when I do it again and the price is $50 per person, you guys coming?
Sure. Yes.
You know, you put that. I'm just yes. Who called my name? All right, so here's what I want to say. What we did in here today was just a small example of what we should be doing. Me and this guy got together. I don't know for how many weeks we did it, but we sat down and we had 3 people. Agent, seller, somebody taking notes. And we practiced the listing presentation over and over and over again. To the point where I haven't done it in forever. I could sit down here and do it, so could Tony, so could Haza, without looking at notes. We know the listing presentation. We need to be at a point where someone calls us and says, come out and meet with me. You can go out and meet with them and you don't have to prepare. If you're not practicing at that level, you need to start doing that right now. Fatima, you've been doing some great stuff. Raj, you've been doing some great stuff, doing a lot of role playing with people, helping them sharpen their saw. We need more of that. So I will set up more classes and I look forward for you guys to come back here and have some fun. We're going to play the question game next time.
You should do something like a mega camp, 5 hours or all day thing.
We could put together we could put together a conference.
We can do something where it's fun and it's a lot of role playing and yeah, of course. I'm actually, one thing I'm looking forward to doing in the spring is getting out of the office and going like for a hike, and we're hiking, we're talking scripts, having a good time, just having lunch. We're gonna do some fun stuff next year. I'm looking forward to it. But I want to say thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys being here for you, not for me. This is helping you guys get to the point where you can go and take listings. You're going to be sitting in front of a seller and hear some of the things you heard in this room, and you're going to know what to say and how to respond. That's the whole point of being here. So, thank you for coming.